I know what you're all thinking, and I don't want to hear it. You're wrong. This is not an example of the NFL favoring the Kansas City Chiefs. In fact, it's quite the opposite. In fact, I think making him wait until September 30th to be suspended is just cruel and unusual punishment. Because he won't be suspended until after his disciplinary hearing, that means he is available for the first 4 games, starting with week 1 against the Chargers in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Sao Paulo is a 13-hour flight from Kansas City. I would rather eat a bucket of thumbtacks and wash it down with Elmer's glue than ride on a 13-hour claustrophobic nightmare flight. And then it's the Eagles week 2, and we all know what happened with the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. 34 unanswered, like a cell phone on mute, and sure, Rice's absence in that game was definitely noticed, and maybe a healthy version of him will make an impact in the rematch, but don't change the subject. And then week 3, they have to travel to New York. I've heard the rats in New York are the size of mini golden doodles. That's traumatizing to anybody. And week 4, right before the disciplinary hearing, he has to play the Baltimore Ravens, which is not fair at all, because it's going to be way too easy, and he's going to have so much fun treating his foot like Charmin and sticking it right in their crack that he won't be thinking about the disciplinary hearing. And then we're there. September 30th, disciplinary hearing in New York. Again, rats the size of miniature golden doodles. And say they give him like a 4-game suspension. What's that look like? Well, week 5, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is not fair to Travis Hunter because he's never gotten the opportunity to get burned by Rashee Rice before. Week 6 is the Lions, and I won't even sugarcoat it. We know what Macho Dan Campbell Savage and his boys like to do. Week 7's the Raiders. Honestly, that one's fine. We can give the rest of the starters the week off too. It's going to be a fucking cakewalk. And then week 8 against Washington, he can't even help his team defend their home turf against the NFC runner-ups on Monday Night Football. His first game back from a 4-game suspension would be week 9 against the Bills in Buffalo. The beginning of November in Buffalo, there's already bound to be like 35 feet of snow, and who wants to suffer through that after 4 weeks of mental anguish of not playing? And then right after his return, after he got his mojo back and inevitably has a 300-yard, 3-touchdown game against those boys from the state that has the rats the size of miniature golden doodles, after all that, after all the suffering he had to go to, you give him another week off. Unbelievable. That's why I think a 13-hour flight, reliving a Super Bowl ass whooping, traveling to a place with gigantic rats, and giggling like a small child stomping a mud hole in the Ravens is probably enough of a punishment that he needs. I have already decided to draft Rashee Rice in fantasy football to show my support, and that, combined with my Chiefs fandom, does not have any impact on this presentation. Rashee Rice, feel free to show this video at your disciplinary hearing. I will represent you. I am not a licensed attorney, but I have watched the last few minutes of a Law & Order episode waiting for WWE to start on USA Network.